¿Dónde está? Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We're going to be talking about the team days today and why they are important and what they're really about. But first, let's see what do you think. What do you think is a team day and how is it different from a team bonding? What do you think, Tim?
So for me, a team day is a team with all the LC, but not talking about ISEC, just doing stuff not related to ISEC, and I think that's why it's different to team bonding.
The team bonding, you say the team bonding is about Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. And how were your team days during this year, as you were as a part of the EB as a VP, but also as a leader of your own department? What kind of team days you had?
We didn't really made any team days, not days, but more like team bondings, like joining friends at a party or in a bar or stuff like this, or having a meal together.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never like a full day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And why do you think these kind of spaces are important? That spaces when you are that it doesn't matter actually if it's the whole day or just an evening or a part of the time, but when you
Well,
are only with your team doing not Isaac stuff.
because it really creates like a synergy, a team spirit, a unity that is really essential, I think, for the wealth of the health of the LC.
Okay, yes, exactly. It boosts communication between the teams, like in between the members. Sorry, if you don't have, if you're not able to communicate, if you don't create that bond outside work, outside Isaac, it's gonna be much harder later on. First, like to ensure that your members enjoy their experience, but also to ensure that they are actually working in synergy, working together. That's one of the reasons that we have team days. But to recap, it's a bit of the things that we've been saying in the last webinars. Team days is also part of the team standards that, as we know, is they are divided between building, performing, and closing. But in each subcategory, we can kind of divide between them. The first line we would be more related to team motivation and team engagement. At the second line, which is mostly about tracking and performing inside the team, and the last one, which is the individual development and the individual engagement towards the team, and that's exactly where we can find the the team days inside the support system. So we were saying support system, what is it about? That means that you as a team leader, you're the guardian, like you are the responsible of your members' experience, and therefore it's not only about their performance but also about how they live the ISOC journey through the team, through the whole term that they're experiencing. So the space is the same as the one-to-one. They have an objective behind them. It's not something that you do very randomly. As you say, it's not about ISEC or the ISEC work or the ISEC language, but that space is an objective. Actually, if not, uh, if it's just some random time that you spend with your team having fun with more people or so on, in that case, we can consider it more as a team bonding um, than a team day, because it, as I said, like these spaces have an objective. You're doing it because of something, and the objective, of course, is gonna change according to what time of the year you do it. Normally, we should have it either. Oh, sorry, we should have it either once per quarter, approximately. But as I say, it's important to remark that as we don't have such an insane amount of free time, it doesn't, even though we call them team days, doesn't need to be team days. Just like an organized, concrete space where we're gonna be looking for something, like a very concrete objective that is not related to the performance of the team or the engagement towards ISEC, but we're looking the communication and bonding inside the team. So each time, of course, outline when, where, how is the space is going to be facilitated. Team days, more concretely, as I was saying, is the moment in which your team had the opportunity of connecting between themselves, not only professionally, but as a people, and re-energize themselves. What does it mean when you're having like very big moment of stress or demotivation, or like you sense that they may be something in your team, in your EV that's not working? You can use these team days, these concrete activities, in order to try to solve the problem of, or to reactivate everyone with different kind of activities. Of course, you can also use the space, recognize, celebrate achievements, and a bit of education and so on. But always with things that would be outside ISEC. Like you can train them a bit in any kind of soft skill or something, but not something that will have a direct impact um, on their performance per se. They don't need to feel that they're actually working. A very good thing is to co-create all the different activities with your team members. So they will feel ownership for the events, they will enjoy it more, and on the way, on the preparation, they will develop it more. Um, as I was saying, once per quarter. Yes. What does mean that you do need to have an agenda, even if it's, I don't know, a team day, let's say a team evening of 3 hours, have different activities and engage or make responsible of each activity to one different person, and you only maybe coordinate the whole event. That way you ensure that everyone feels responsible for everyone's team experience also. Some tip and tricks that I can give you. First one, as always, super important, you need to prepare it. If not, having these events with such frequency, it really loses the sense, because you are not looking for an objective. So it really wouldn't be this reconnection between the team. So more concretely, have a clear plan for your team day or your team evening or your team morning or wherever. Have very clear outline the different objectives that you would like to have for that day. And very important, as you should have these spaces once per quarter, make sure that in one space you don't repeat already the activities or the spaces where you've been in that in previous team days, because if not, it gets repetitive and it doesn't, like your members are not going to enjoy it that much. This is what I was mentioning also before. Choose the facilitators for different activities and explain them their part. So say like, okay, I would like you to do, I don't know, my DPOGX, an activity in order like for us to get to know us better, or for other person, like, hey, do something. You have 1 hour to prepare something, an activity that will help us to trust more, to boost confidence between us, between the team, for example. Second of all, during the team days, it's super important that everyone feels comfortable and just enjoy yourself. This is not a space to be pressured. Everyone should be present, of course, but it's not a pressured kind of environment. Everyone needs to be relaxed and feel safe and be able like to open up to the others and have a good time. Follow the agenda, look for the connection for between the team members, and invest in your team days. This is very important. Sometimes we think that a team days is going to get a beer and then only pay at the beers. No, maybe you can organize a trip somewhere to another city and do some tourism and do, I don't know, treasure hunts by teams along the city and pay the lunch for everyone and those kind of things. Like, it's something, if you see as a member that your LC, your LCP, your team leader is investing on you and in your journey, you're gonna be much willing to give back also all that effort towards the committee. Plus, of course, you will be taking care in a very concrete way on the journey of your members, and it's a way of HR investments that you need to have in mind when you are taking care of your budget. Is it clear until here?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Amazing. So you have, yes, actually it's something I wanted to show you. In the external resources, in the transition tool, I'm gonna put, I have it ready, but if you go here, you know there is a tab at the end that says external resources. Okay, here at the end. So you have different, links, articles for leadership and management, running meetings, strategy, and so on and so on. And at the end, you have some links with different articles and different ideas that you can use in order to get different activities for team days, and what are the kind of objectives that you can pursue in each one of the activities. So it's not really that you need to create them themselves. You can, like, of course, either use these ones or just type in Google, like, hey, team-based activities, and it appears team bonding activities. Like it appears hundreds of them. So it's something for you also to have in mind. And the last thing, okay, just again everything. The last thing, there are things that you will need to do for sure and not to do while you're preparing these team days. The to-dos, super important. Co-create as much as possible, as I was mentioning. Prepare it with good anticipation. A good team day can make a lot of difference for you. What does it mean? If suddenly you realize that you haven't done the team days of this quarter, as an LTP, and say, hey, team day this Saturday, and is Friday, well, there's a very little chances that actually your team is going to be available for it. You always have to date, like, the more in advance that you prepare these kind of actions, these kind of spaces, the better. For example, while you're doing planning, one of the things that you can do, hey, we're gonna have team day always the first week of the quarter, every 3 months. So the people know that even though maybe the details can be done later, the around that week they would have to save some time for this kind of activity. Also, it's very important to make it special. It's a very sweet moment for you to have with your team and between them. So do the kind of activities that they're gonna reinforce the emotional connection between the team members, and the commitment, and enjoy there, and for them to feel special and taken care of from the LT, from the team leader. Things not to do. Don't make these days a meeting. Like, it's not a meeting, as we were saying. It's not about Isaac. It's not about the performance. It's a moment to be outside this, and relax and bond. So have a lot of that in mind. And with that done, only to say that also, as part of the transition, as a follow-up of this webinar, the task that you have to do is to plan the first team day with your EVM. You can submit a funny pic of it in the folder. Now, it's summer, so it's very difficult for the EV to be together all the time. And that's why, of course, there also exists the possibility of doing it virtually. You can create games, you can create some activities that interconnects your team in a very specific way to bond, to create that connection that you need, while everyone is each in each part of the world. So it doesn't necessarily to be, you don't need to wait for September to do it, and actually do it now at the beginning of the term. And this first quarter, it's something very, very positive for the future synergies that you're gonna have to have. And with that, I open the space for the questions, suggestions, or feelings that you may have about this.
I don't especially have questions because that's a thing that I've really already prepared. So
Amazing.
yeah,
So what do you have
you
in
know,
mind?
I've told you it was like about this cleaning beach day. Since we are close to the sea, we are thinking to do yeah a clean beach action, and
Yes, that's
with
amazing.
the SDGs and stuff. Yeah,
That's super,
because
super good.
that's what I say to my team is like we are sending a lot of people for doing SDGs, but we are doing kind of nothing in France, so it's kind of urgent to do something. So yeah,
That's super cool. And all your EVs gonna be there to do it?
yeah, normally, yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God, showcase. Take a lot of pictures of that. Showcase it a lot.
Yeah, and I was all because I have one of my friends that is a journalist now for student media, so I was thinking to invite him to help us and
Yes,
make it as an article for Ren.
yes, 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 do that. That's amazing. And you can use, okay, this is an amazing example of how out of a team standard, which is the thing no one likes to do, you can create like a very nice experience and impact in your community, plus marketing and publicity for your local committee. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is GCP. This is good practice. Rest of the LTPs, watch the video and talk to team. Okay, so good luck. When do you have it? When are you doing it?
Uh, we don't know yet if it's last weekend of September or 1st of October. I mean, in this area, because after it might be a bit cold.
Mm-hmm.
But especially we need the team day like kinda at the beginning of the term. I mean, for
Mm-hmm.
the new members to really
Mm-hmm.
gather and help together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's great. But then in that case, as is that late? That late? I mean, oh, it's cool. I would suggest you to try to do something before, only with your EP. You know, with your EP members, for that for to start
Hmm.
creating the connection and to start creating trust between them. Like now before the during summer. So when actually all the
Yeah,
new members
yeah,
and
yeah,
the rest of the local committee arrive, you have a very strong team in terms of
yeah, yeah.
communication already. But
Okay.
that's amazing. That's so good. Okay, so that was all. As promised, very short webinar today. Thank you so much. Let me know how it goes. And goodbye, everyone.